What? Oh, that's Elimination Chamber. You got
Alright.
two different.
From sunrise to sunset, I can't stop hustling every minute, every second. Can't stop hustling.
What's up, everybody? It is your boys over here. We're going to be talking about AEW Revolution 2023. Fellas, how are y'all today?
Doing well. Doing well. Hogzwars?
Pretty darn excellent.
Pretty darn excellent.
Yo.
That's better than
Yo.
darn good, I guess. Yo.
Yes,
So-
yes.
You know, the general synopsis, you know how we usually say it was a show? This show actually wasn't that bad, I don't think. I think it did, did a lot of stuff for, if you've been watching the product, it did a lot of stuff to kind of move a lot of stuff forward, and it helped elevate some people that, did a good job with.
Yeah.
I don't know, y'all.
Oh, well. Well, first off, what's up, world? Intros, even though we got the nice little name bars down here and whatnot. This Bros, Brews, and Botches, if you didn't know, and we're doing the AEW Revolution 2023 review because we just watched that. Hopefully you did too. Always coming at you is your boys. I don't know where y'all at down here in presentation, but we got OHB, Overhereboy. We got always Hogzwars with the new IG page. And as always, it's me, it's the Yellaboi. Always coming for the people. You people. So, gotta live the gimmick, man. Gotta live the gimmick.
Yo, for sure.
Yeah, make sure that y'all are checking us out on all social media, because at the end of this video, and if you're watching on catch up, we'll have some stuff down in the, not the comments, I was about to say comments, in the description. We'll have some links for you. But hey, look, it wasn't 5 hours long tonight.
Oh
y'all.
my gosh, dude. That was my thing too. I was like, we're gonna have to do a post show, and it's gonna be 2 a.m. where I live.
Oh,
I'm
thank
trying to get
God.
on that, yo.
Man, I mean, including the 0 hour, it went for about not even the whole 4 hours, but it went about 4 hours with the 0 hour. So,
Mhm.
hey, definitely winning on this one, man. Definitely
yeah.
winning.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get started, I guess I know you're leading this thing, OHB, but I just want to throw it out there before we get started, y'all. Make sure that y'all like, share, put a comment, put some chats in the chat, man, because you know what I mean, that helps with the algorithms and helps us get that name out there right now, because we are on our way to 1K. We want 1,000 subscribers, y'all. Help us get there. Tell your friends if you're interested about wrestling, if you're interested about craft beer, or if you're interested about food, craft beer, and wrestling all at the same time, because I know you are, man, you know what to do. But OHB, what's up with the show?
Well, it was a show, like I said, but it started off, and then we kind of had what we thought was going to be the rundown for the show, but it wasn't. They kind of flipped the script, and I think Tony'd be doing that stuff to kind of, get one over on the folks. But it started off, well, I guess if we talk about the pre-show, it was a triple, a 3-man tag match that had Pentas, Cerro, and Ray Phoenix, and the Sussex County Chicken taking on Tony Nese and Dutt, and who else was the other guy? I can't think. It's Josh.
It was Ari Davari and the varsity athletes. That was Tony Nese and Josh Woods.
It was Davari. And my apologies on that. I don't know why I was thinking Dutt, because Dutt interjected himself all over this show, and we might talk about that a little bit later on. And that's my apologies. Anyway, having said all that, that match, was what it was supposed to do. It was kind of get the crowd going for the show. I won't get into it. You guys can talk about it if you want to a whole lot, but it was a real quick series of moves, which it was kind of cool at the end. There was like a gory special neck breaker into that move that Penta and Phoenix do, and then off the top rope with the froggy elbow was the froggy bow was our good friend Mr. Mark Briscoe for the 3 count, and then it went on to the main show. You guys got anything to say about that match?
just happy to see Mark Briscoe out there enjoying what he does. I told y'all during the stream that one, I have the utmost respect for Mark Briscoe because after you wouldn't kind of choosing my words here. I don't want to say you wouldn't think that he's had major loss, but the way that he's turned this around and he's just like this is more of a tribute. Like his brother is still with him in spirit. Like the promo that he cut this past week on AEW television. Like the man has big faith, and that just gives me a lot of respect for the man. So, Hogzwars, you got anything?
No, just a good intro match. It was one of the things I can say about majority of the pay per view. A lot of it didn't suck. It was a really
Hey,
good matches. So it's only one palate cleanser the whole 4 hours. So they did way better this time than last Revolution.
Oh
oh
yeah,
God, yes,
that last one was terrible.
Brutal,
boy.
brutal.
Oh man, if I had long hair, I would have pulled it out on last year's
I
Revolution.
did have
That,
long hair. That's why.
You
That's
shaved
why I
it all
got
off.
this now. Yo,
oh man,
man, it gone now.
Even the beard gone.
The
yeah, he
beard's
pulled the
gone. Look
beard
at
out.
that. I had to clean that up. But
Fresh in the goatee.
yeah, so jumping right into the show, right off the cuff, we had Jericho versus Starks, which we didn't think that was going to be the first match, but it was. Um,
Mhm.
it was a lot of stuff, and then if you guys want to talk about it, I'll let you go ahead and Hogs Wars. What did you think about
Another, like we said, not suck match. It did not suck at all.
it?
Uh, one I really liked how Ricky threw the spear and it reversed into a code breaker. That was really cool during the match. But then that ending where Starks blocks the Judas effects and turns it into the Rochambeau was pretty nice. Way to win that one. Pretty cool.
How
Yeah,
about
I
you?
mean, I'm gonna take it right on out, just roll with it.
Hmm.
Just to kind of piggyback on what you were talking about, like I checked Fightful.com through Fightful Select. That's $5 out there until we get a $5 Patreon. But they had a match rundown. Obviously, they had posted something backstage, and they kind of switched up the order for the first and second match. So we got the Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho, which the stipulation was that the JAS, the Jericho Appreciation Society, was banned from ringside, but we still had a cameo appearance from that heat magnet Sammy Guevara, who tried to come out and interfere, but Action Andretti took him on out and brought
Hmm.
him to the back, which led to Jericho trying to use or did use the bat, or what is his name? Floyd the Bat. Is that his
Yeah.
Yeah.
name? Floyd the Bat. He used Floyd the Bat, but it wasn't to be, as Hogwarts said. He tried to go for the Judas effect. It wasn't Judas effective. so
Ha yo.
so he ended up hitting him with the Rochambeau, getting the win. I don't know about you over here, boy, but I'm ready for Ricky to go on to another feud. I hope this is dead in the water. But what
Yeah,
do you think?
yeah, I agree with that. I do appreciate how Jericho was working the ribs over because that was an injured part of him. So that was kind of
Mhm.
cool to see that everything he did was focusing on the ribs. But yeah, I'm right. You're right with that, man. I think they need to move on to something else.
Yeah.
Which kind of segue to the next match: Jungle Boy versus Christian. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to be done too. They've been playing this boy out forever.
Man,
But
Man,
dragging that on, buddy.
yeah,
I
like
think I think the injury kind of set them back because they would have probably been done with it had it not been for that injury that Christian sustained. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Too much.
yeah. So
That's
what did you think about it then? So you're saying that because they kind of played it off that the reason why he was hurt in the first place was because of Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy hurting that arm or whatnot. The match was good for what it needed to be, and it kind of rolled with the first match because the crowd started off, and I mean, it didn't let up. It lulled a little bit, but the crowd was hot the entire time, which helped to the overall enjoyment of the show because I don't think it was a terrible show. I didn't think last year was a terrible show, but it was terribly long.
Hmm.
So, but with this match, like it did exactly what it needed to do. We had talked about it while we were watching that Jungle Boy is he can't be Jungle Boy forever. He's going to be Jack Perry at some point, and this is kind of helping with that evolution of Jack Perry, making
Right.
him into his own man or whatnot. And we also hypothesized, big word, hypothesized that we might have seen Luchasaurus come out, but I think it was in retrospect, it probably was a better call to allow Jack Perry to win this match on his own. Sorry, spoiler, but to go through this match on his own. Um, but I liked it. It was the first of many penis kicks throughout the match. We got 6 of them throughout the night. And this was the first of 6 penis punches, if you will. I mean, I'm not trying to keep up with the penis punches, but I kept up with the penis punches. There was a lot of them on this show, man.
Man.
But Hogzwars, what you think about this?
Once again, it was a good match. It ended the way it needed to because I think everybody, including them, was tired of this. I was laughing at Christian thinking being a heel means I got to wear a turtleneck. I don't know why that is still a thing,
With no sleeves.
but you know,
SpongeBob on them.
right? You know, turtleneck, like the boy said, no sleeves. um, let me see. What was a few things I thought about?
Checks the notes.
Yeah, because I had to think about it. Yeah, that was early in the match. They had this really cool submission by Christian, where he almost kind of was setting him up for a little kill switch, but he stops and he just had his neck all bent to heck with his arms up in the air like a bike. That was really cool. I did like that. Also, Jungle Boy kind of splattered him on the steps because he was trying to. Jungle Boy was trying to get him, and he caught him, and Tristan caught his leg and flipped him. Man, he hit hard.
Yeah, he went back first. Wow, for
Ooh,
sure.
man. And then later on, out on top of the stage, Jungle Boy flipped off and jumped on Christian on the empty space of the area around the stage was pretty cool too. So I did like a lot of those kind of things.
Yo. He clapped him at the end. Jungle Boy did with the concerto, and then threw his old ass right into the casket, and it was a wrap. That's when I thought. That's when I thought Luchasaurus was going to come out, no joke. But then it wasn't. It was just a clean blam. That was it. So hopefully they can move on with this, and we'll figure something out for Jungle Boy. But I feel like he's going to have one of them moments where he's like, I'm not a boy anymore, and just I don't keep blah blah blah, and then it'll be Jack Perry. So
I'm Jungle Man.
Yeah, they're moving to that. Yeah, they're moving to that.
At least they didn't have gimmick infringement with Mark Calloway with lightning flashing on it. They just had smoke come out as the casket
and it just fell.
Match with the Undertaker player. That's it. But
that's my gimmick, boy.
Right.
Then it rolled right on to the Elite versus the House of Black for the trios titles.
Woo! What do you think about that, OHB?
Man, I thought right off the rip, I mean, it got crazy. That Buddy Murphy was ridiculous. It was him and Omega starting off which I kind of figured they're the workhorses of both the teams. And they had a lot of good back and forth and a lot of teases of, their kind of special maneuvers where, Omega tried to go for that Snapdragon suplex, couldn't get it on him a few times, and then kind of all heck broke loose in the match towards the end of it. I'm surprised that Hart took a bump, man. I was really surprised that, she got up there and ate a V-trigger from Kenny Omega, which was, that's kind of dope. You don't really see that anymore in wrestling. Not saying that that's something I advocate. Like, hey,
so what you're saying is you want to see more women
I need to see more women get beat
by the guys.
Because, during the Attitude Era now, that wasn't nothing. Nowadays.
Right.
That's good. That's good that we don't promote that, but still, I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised that happened. That was very reminiscent of like some sort of the sensational Sherry days, where they get up there and start doing that and then get yeeted off the thing. But what do you think about that? Their Hogzwars?
Again, it did not suck. Very, very good match. Yes, we're giving multiples of these today. Good job. But but no, it was a very good match. I really like how they were able to use each guy to kind of like balance out, even with a guy as big as Brody was, just mauling people left and right. It still led to a consistently good match. with even say what you want to about the Young Bucks, they do at least know how to keep you entertained. Yeah, they might have their moments like any other wrestler nowadays, but they still can keep you entertained, keep you paying attention. And Kenny's always going to find a way from pointing out the universe while he's running and everything else. At least be almost like a big Match Bob, as they used to say, kind of the idea where he brings it out of folks. But House of Black definitely came with the thunder they darn self and did a very good job in that match.
Yeah. First off, so I said that Kenny Omega came out looking like Show Nuff from
Really did.
Last
Yeah,
Dragon.
he did.
But after further review, he was dressed as one of the characters that he plays in the what is it, like what's the game that he just now wrapped in
Oh,
Japan?
yeah. I know you're talking
It's
about. I forgot what it's
it's
called
one of
now.
the Yakuza games or something like that, I
Yeah, it's that
believe.
new one where the guy got the gun and everything.
Yeah, he was
real old
dressed
school.
that character from the game,
That
but
games are brutal.
Yes,
he still looked like Show Enough though.
Yeah, he did.
really did.
Kids,
Really
if
did.
you're watching, kids, if you're under the age of 30 or so, go back and watch
Last Dragon. That's it.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
Go
put it
watch
on YouTube. Google that stuff.
Yeah, go Google it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's probably for sure on YouTube with commercials too. So go check that out.
Go check Tubi. Tubi's free, not a sponsor. But I looked at my notes for this match, and literally one of my notes says Brody King smoke fools. That was my note.
He does.
Like he was in there just smoking everybody, and like I like that they started out with Buddy and Omega because that's something that fans have been clamoring for. So they went ahead and just started out with it. But they really need to have a one-on-one singles match. I know that's not the direction that they're going to go because they're working something with Takeshita Kinosuke. So that's going to be between him and Omega. But I need something with Buddy. But I like both of y'all. I enjoyed it. It was a great match. Julia Hart. I don't know which one was it. Was it OHB or was it Hogzwars that said? I think it's Hogzwars. I think he said that this was a great move to put her with House of Black.
Yeah,
it's kind of turned her career around.
Yeah. Because her whole character flipped. It was like, she was so valid girl, but she seemed so bored.
Yeah,
when
she wasn't inspired.
They did a good job also of teasing the change when they was doing all the little AEW Darks and AEW Dark Elevation with building that whole thing up too. So if you were one of those few people that actually watch it, it culminated in her turning what she is now, and it's like a great evolution of a character.
It took a while though. I think it took extremely too long for them to finally get there with her. Yeah, but they got her there, and I think because she was kind of dead in the water with Varsity Blondes, and in fact, where are the Varsity Blondes? Who cares?
Right. I was fixing to say that myself. You're exactly right.
But I enjoyed that match, and there were some different beats that the Elite were doing with House of Black than they normally would. Like they have their, like Hogzwars was saying, they have their things. If they're wrestling the Lucha Bros or if they're wrestling Top Flight, they'll do one thing, but they had to completely change it up. They did of course they did their spots, but they changed it up because House of Black is a different animal. And the right team won because I feel like if they didn't do this, House of Black was already 1 foot out the door. It's already, talks of, I was about to call him Alistair, but Malachi Black being unhappy, but this hopefully shall keep them there and put them on the forefront and see them every Wednesday night instead of just occasionally on Wednesday nights. But great match. Great match.
Kind of elevate them too to go on to that next main event level because them dudes are really main event dudes. I mean, but the way that match went down, like Matt Jackson took the L on it. He came in, Malachi Black kicked the absolute bejesus out of him. Then he turned right around and got caught by the Dante's Inferno, and then it was a wrap, son. So what was it that happened to Nick? He come flying and somebody caught him with something and he died right there on the spot.
Man.
Yeah, he's it, dude.
Killed him with that knee.
Yeah, he's a wrap. That's what ended all of it right there. After that, all that spotting, they had Omega out there. So yeah, We'll see how that goes. I hope they don't have another elite breakup though, because I mean, come on, man. We already seen that. I don't care about seeing it again.
But
Right.
any speculation from you two about who the next contenders are? Like, who's another trio that would contend for
I don't,
those belts?
I don't know, man. They're gonna have to. I just don't want them to throw somebody together, and I feel like that's what they're gonna have to do.
Top
But
Well,
flight,
I
AR Fox.
mean, they don't have to when you still got, you know, heels like Jeff Jarrett and them. You still got, like he said, Top Flight and AR Fox seem to be milking their little time together on every show that AEW has right now, including Ring of Honor.
yeah, but could you really
And
see them be the champions though? That's my thing.
you
There would
could
be
before
that
you saw the Black got the darn belt, because now you're like, who is gonna be
right.
quote unquote tough enough to take it, as a saying goes.
But they got to heat them up actually though, because like
Mm-hmm.
they were heated when they first came into AEW. That's Top Flight, and then the injury to Darius Martin happened, and then they heated up Dante as a singles, and
Mm-hmm.
then Darius came back for a short stint, and then he got injured again, and then he came back, and now he's back, and then they introduced AR Fox to a bunch of folks who ain't seen AR Fox unless you watch a bunch of indies. So now they're just kind of so they got to really heat them up. They're going to do something, but I don't know. Death Triangle again. I don't really know who's going to be the next people to step up
Man,
for it.
I don't know, dude. I'd like to see a little bit more of like New Japan type stuff. Them bring some people in on that because you're gonna have somebody eventually as big as Brody King come in there and kind of be the
Right.
equalizer, and we don't have. I don't know if anybody's got that unless you bring Cobb and them dudes in there.
Or
I'm gonna
Guerrillas
be
of
that.
Destiny, doing that.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate. You're talking about bringing people in, and that's the one thing that fans have said.
Yeah.
They've got too many people. You're bringing extra folks
Mm-hmm.
in. You gotta get with the talent that you have. So I'm just wanting to be devil's advocate. You can bring folks in, but you're gonna get those people who are like, well, you still got talent. You got Miro sitting on the bench doing nothing.
Right.
You got, I mean, as much as people don't like the firm, you still got folks. You got Big Bill, you got Lee Moriarty, and you
Mm-hmm.
got Ethan Page that's out there that could be a trios,
Yeah, that's true.
thing. You know what I mean? So
Scorpio Sky's still out there. He need to do something. You know.
But I feel like they're kind of treating those trios titles, except for like when the Elite took it over. It's kind of like that the women's tag team belts there for a spell in WWE. So
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have to focus on putting together good teams that make sense together, not just like, hey, here's three random dudes, let's throw them in there. So like you said, we'll see how they put that together. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the next one was the women's title match. Is that what y'all have on the docket?
your
That
triple
was
threat.
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
that
yes,
was a
yes.
triple threat with Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter and Saraya. Is that right?
Soraya.
Mhm.
Yep.
Saraya, yo, Paige.
Soraya.
Not, and
Yeah.
That's
it's
my real
totally
name.
that's totally not Paige from that one video. It's not the same
Right.
person, bro.
Mm-mm.
No,
Not a night with Paige. No, no, no.
no. We ain't getting all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods.
Oh yeah, but
Ooh.
yeah, Yellaboi, what'd you think about this, man? I know this was kind of something that we kind of hype about a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so let me think. So Jamie Hayter, lots of just support. The crowd loves Jamie Hayter. Like, I think they really had to redo what they were going to do with Jamie Hayter, and they're putting her to the forefront. But if you remember, cast your minds back about 6, 7 months ago, where Jamie Hayter, there was like that seed of dissension between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, and now Britt Baker's playing second fiddle to Jamie Hayter. Like, eventually, it's going to pay off at some point. I mean, after whatever this crap is they got going on with AEW Originals versus the Outsiders or whatever they want to call themselves, all that kind of stuff. But um I like this match. I wish there was more than one women's match on a card on a show, because like on Wednesday nights we usually just get one women's match. On Rampage we usually get one women's match. AEW Dark, they have multiple women's matches for whatever reason, but I would have liked to seen the TBS champion Jade Cargill be on the show, but hey, whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I was worried throughout the match. I don't know how y'all guys feel. I was worried about Saraya because we know that she went out for years with the neck injury, and she took a lot of back bumps and bumps on across her shoulder blades and such. And I'm like cringing every time she took a bump because I'm like, you don't have to do this because from what I understand from the dirt sheets, that she had originally stated when she came back that she was only going to do and was only allowed one match a month because of doctors. So I think this is her second match within the month. So yeah, don't hurt yourself, Saraya. Don't mess up your neck too much. But
Gotta
I
protect your
enjoyed it.
neck.
Right. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But always, or excuse me, Hogzwars. We'll pivot over to you. What did you think about the match?
I liked it. It was one of the better women's matches I've seen on AEW. I can honestly say that, especially lately when it seems like their women's division is kind of taking a big L for the most part. So it was really nice to have a interesting women's match. I did like the finish and then the proverbial setting up for later after the match.
Yeah.
Uh, because I really think, yeah, I called it. Yeah, they kind of let Ruby take the L, which is why her whole point of being in the match was originally. But in the same token, it was a good thing because it also brought out a new version of her that has been kind of solely missing. She's taking a lot of L's from a lot of people, getting double and triple teamed by a lot of different groups. So she finally got some people to be on the same page with. So she ain't got to at least get done in every goddamn match.
Ew. On the same
So
page. I see what you did there.
dig it. So it works, and I'm just hoping that they take this and actually build an actual freaking storyline with the women
Take
for
that,
once
take
instead of just half but doing everything and then trying to make us feel like, oh well, you're trying,
that.
you know. But Yellowboy, how you feeling, sir?
I was gonna kick it over to OHB. What you
Oh
think
well,
overall about this match?
go ahead, bud.
Man, I couldn't have cared less about this match, really. No, I'm just joking.
You always want domestic violence on the show. So
Yo,
Right,
no,
right.
yeah, I mean, it went down like I was saying. I was like, I think they kind of made it a three-way because to let Soraya, is that it? Every time I mess
Saraya.
up,
Saraya.
Soraya, to let her have like some
Say
rest
ray of
breaks,
sunshine, buddy.
rest breaks out there. To have some rest breaks, because she, bumping around and stuff like that probably ought not be doing it. But the ending of it, man, she took a haterade inadvertently. So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I was like, oh my god, she might have took a clap on that, and then ended up getting the Rubes got pinned like that, and then all of a sudden Ruby decided, hey, it's time to turn on a body. But we didn't think at first she's going to because, like, she threw old kids up at the ring, and then she's up there standing and was like, oh, she finally picked her side. Then all of a sudden she come out of nowhere and took both Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter out. And then they sprayed the big NWO, I mean the L in green on them, brother. And then so yeah, we'll see where we go with the story on that. Yeah.
OHB wearing the non-Rue Beaver hat for Ruby Soho.
Gotta love Bucky's.
Buckets.
You mean
But
you mean Busey's? That's right. You got heat. You got heat with me, Texas. No,
I'm
but
more interested in what OHB. I want to hear OHB's thoughts first on the next match that came up.
Mhm.
That's what I want to know.
you talking about the bloodbath,
Yes,
buddy. Okay, so they a
Man.
running joke in all of the
Man.
wrestling community about John Moxley and how he has a penchant for getting busted open within. If he's gonna bleed, if you see him on your TV, he's getting
Right.
busted open. He got that onion thin skin up there. He's got that skin. You just flick that boy and start just profusely.
The Ric Flair leather up there, buddy.
So I mean, right off the match, this was a Texas death match between Moxley and Hangman Page, and they get in there, and dude, Moxley didn't have a chance to get to the ringside really, and Page was already on him, like stink off of you know what.
yo,
He's on him, I mean, they went in the ring. There's a few things went back and forth, and then Hangman Page took the barbed wire to his forehead, and then the rest of it was downhill from there. What do you think about it, Hogzwars?
Man, I think that was a brutal freaking match.
Yeah,
I swear,
absolutely.
God, it was brutal. And then the unnecessary use of barbed wire. I'm almost thankful they didn't use the tax because I mean nobody had a shirt on, so nobody could at least play it off a little bit. But still, I haven't seen that much barbed wire used in somebody's non-fence for their cows in a long time. So,
Yeah.
like, goodness gracious, between the dead eye on the chair from Hangman getting thrown into a barbed wire chair, and then I know it's one that was just like stupid. Because Mox, what was it? Yeah. So Mox is getting ready to bleed Hangman, and all of a sudden he says, "You know what? I'm gonna pull out the old school and pull out the darn fork like he Abdul the Butcher and everything." Just start stabbing Hangman in the head. I'm like, "Oh, come on, son!
But
Oh,
but just like when he was stabbing him in the head, though, all that blood was squirting all over Moxley's chest. I was
right."
like,
Just
golly, dude.
gush. Yes.
Yeah,
Like, oh, come
it's
on,
like he's
kid.
getting hit with a splat gun on that boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when they was on top of the top rope, and these two are literally scratching each other so terribly, and just I was like, no. And then all of a sudden, here comes Mox. Well, you going? I'm on top of that. Let me get the barbed wire and do the same. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yo.
I,
Back rates.
I was like, hold on, dude. I know how that feel. No.
Hello, man. How do you know how that
Whew.
feel? You
Hey,
kinky boy.
hey. Sometimes your country got to fix some stuff. You learn.
Yeah.
But ooh, man. But yeah, yeah, very brutal match. Very, very brutal.
What you think about
Yeah,
that,
boy.
Yella? Yeah.
Man, just not much to add on to that. Like I know this style of match ain't for everybody, and I know there's some people that are like, oh, they're excessive, they do this, they do that. If you are a person from a certain period of time, like if you grew up with your 80s, 90s, and early aughts, then this is probably for you because this is a lot of what that was made from. But you know what I mean? It's not for everybody. It was brutal. There were times where you just kind of cringe, especially when you watch that fork digging into Hangman Page's forehead and just watching this blood every time his heart beat, that blood would just flatten, on Mox. Like, yeah, like there was a point where Page did a Orihara moonsault, but he didn't just have to do a moonsault. He had to wrap his body with barbed wire and did a moonsault to the outside. Like, yeah. But the conclusion of the match scene itself, which it took me back to when I was younger and I used to laugh at stuff like when the big boss man got hung from the top of the cage or whatnot. Because like Hangman really went for his name, Hangman, because Mox introduced a steel chain into the ring and Page used the steel chain, to throw Mox over the top rope and hang him with it until he could not breathe. Like, yo, he was like dead, but he let him go immediately after, the 10 count, all that good stuff. So maybe this will give John Moxley the break that he so desperately needed because after the whole fallout from All Out, Brawl Out that was had, he was supposed to go on vacation, y'all. Like he was really supposed to go on vacation with his daughter, with Renee, and that didn't happen. And he just kind of put the company on his back, him and Brian Danielson, and said, "The hell with it. We're just gonna go ahead and have banger of matches. I'm just gonna lose all the blood that's in my body, you know, and go out and have matches where I just bleed profusely. So maybe he'll get this vacation that he needs and go away for about a month or two, and then come back, stronger than he was. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Saying
Yo.
all that, saying
That's
all
it.
that, like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, but the
Dig it.
you know what I didn't enjoy was the next match, which was Samoa Joe
Wah,
versus
wah.
Wardlow. It wasn't horrible. I wouldn't even say it was a palate cleanser though. It was just a kind of weird, man. It went on and and then the ending saw somebody do a move thief if you play them WWE 2K games, where Wardlow would come out on top. Spoiler alert, I'm not really a spoiler, but, I'm going to hand this softball up to Yellaboi once again. I thought what I did about the match, it wasn't horrible, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it was a palate cleanser either. Didn't suck the wind out of the show, but what did you think?
It just, and it's always like this with AEW shows, it's just the placement of certain matches. You had that Texas Death Match, which took a lot of energy from the fans. And after all that, you got the queasiness, you got all that action, and then you get to this match, which is big meaty men slapping meats. It's the slapping meats match. So right, it's the big meaty men slapping meats. I wrote in one of my notes that Wardlow can fly because he's a big dude that can just swantons and Falcon Arrow, not Falcon Arrow.
Was it the Will of the Wisp?
Yeah.
Dude, he definitely got some pointers from Jeff Hardy because that was two of his moves, almost identical to how he hits them.
Yeah,
and he hit them high too.
You wouldn't think that somebody the size of Wardlow would do the things that he does, but I don't know. I didn't hate the match. I didn't absolutely love it. I would have done the ending a little bit differently, but then again, I'm not a professional wrestling booker, so what the hell do I know? I would have actually had Samoa Joe win because looking on at the match in the balcony in the box area, skybox area, was the face of the Revolution, Sonic the Hedgehog ring holder,
Ding ding.
the Book of Hobbs, Will Hobbs out, Powerhouse Hobbs up there in the skybox.
New powerhouse.
Right. the biggest, but Hogzwars, I'll toss it up to you to slam it down. What overall would you think?
Same as before, just basic. It was a basic bot, to put it that way. And mostly because, like you said, so much happened in the match before. There's no way to come behind that and still keep the crowd involved.
Giggity.
Granted, granted, the two moves by Wardlow really brought the crowd back into it because who isn't surprised by a 6-foot guy doing a backflip off the top rope? Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And then come back with a swanton later on. That's kind of hard to not be, But still, outside of those two moves, the majority of the matches are old school, big buys, big hoss fight match, and it was just that. It was just a match. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. It was just kind of there to take space for the next random freaking set of match. So, I don't like. I have no problem with Wardlow. You want that good guy to come in top sometimes, but the way the next match is with Hobbs and the way how hot Hobbs is, it would have made more sense to me to take that heel like him and go against a hot guy like Hobbs and let Hobbs get the title. But we shall see.
Yeah, man. If they don't pull the trigger on Hobbs with this, and I don't, not to take anything from Wardlow, but it's like, dude, he's so hot right now that once that comes in there and they gonna fizzle him out, then he's just gonna be buried in obscurity again. So,
right.
Plus that dude's put in the work. It ain't like he's still the same Hobbs that was there, 2 years ago or whatever. To where he was a big dude, but now he's a big dude and he's cut up. So, I don't know. Y'all done talking about that? We can move on.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so Wardlow goes over. Samoa Joe ends up choking him out with cocaine clutch. That was what I was getting at with the move thief thing. And it was kind of weird how fast he went out, but whatever, dude. Samoa Joe's old. Smell like pineapples.
And Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A.
From Chick-fil-A, man. How's Chick-fil-A get away with that? They ain't coming at. They ain't gonna never come after them. But I looked at that. I said, that's messed up, man. Anyway, that next match was the 4-way for the World Tag Team titles, and it was the Acclaimed trying to look about getting their belts back from the Guns, but also in this match was Jeff Jarrett, the last Outlaw, and Jay Lethal, and then Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Yo, so at first I was like, man, why does this need to be a four-way match? But there's always got to be somebody in there that don't care to take the L, that saves face for everybody else. So Hogzwars, what did you think about this match, man?
Well, it definitely was a lot of chaos.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, a whole lot of chaos, and it was a decent match. It did what it needed to do. It made some extra storylines, which I think is the whole point of the match itself. It took what storylines that already was together in that kind of like three-way triangle and added another kind of layer to it, with Danhausen and the homie of the Orange Punch, Orange Cassidy. So it should move some things along to at least kind of build that tag team division up a little better than what they have been doing. Because in a way, it's almost like tag team division kind of split into who's going to be in the 3 team versus who's going to be in the two.
Right.
So it's kind of good to have at least some multiple storylines going on, so some people can get built up, if you will. But other than that, eh, the ending was more important than the actual finish of the match, if you can believe that. So,
yeah.
My brother Yellow.
Man, so again, I ain't nobody's booker. I ain't getting paid to be nobody's booker. And I was calling as I normally do. I tried to call spots and call like conclusions and what's going to happen next, that type of deal on the match. First off, let me say that this match, what it also did by proxy, is to show some of the fans who weren't really familiar with Danhausen outside of AEW and his comedic style, some of the work that he actually can do, hitting some moves and stuff like that, and actually being a serious wrestler. Because most people don't believe it, but Danhausen was actually a serious character when he first came up with the Danhausen idea, and it was supposed to be like a horror character. I mean, we seen shades of this, I think last year at some point where he did bring the old character out for like one night and then they just kind of dropped it all together. But like he did some actual real wrestling moves. You got your spot with Sanjay Dutt. That's where Dutt came in. Sanjay Dutt came in with, a whole new outfit and everything from what he wore on the pre-show.
Extremely
And
Indian.
yes,
Extremely.
yes, showing his Indian heritage. Um, and got his pencil broken by Danhausen, right? Got pencil broken, which brought in the big man, Satnam Singh came in and
Who also was very, very, very nicely Indian.
yes, very nicely Indian, had on some traditional garb as well. Called a famouser for his trouble though.
Oh yeah, he did.
He really did after everybody else jacked him up.
Yeah, he called a famouser for his trouble.
Yeah, dude got clapped too, because all that stuff with like you're saying with Dutt. Then all of a sudden, I guess he wasn't having any of it with Danhausen, and then Orange Cassidy came out,
super orange
locked him,
quote him.
Yeah, and called a. Oh, and let us not forget and back all the way up to the intro where one of the lines that Caster spit was that good old Double J forgot his Cialis and proceeded to throw Cialis pills into the ring at him. Yeah, man, like it seemed like he got off the beat for a little bit during that rap or whatnot, but he kind of powered through because he didn't want to have what happened at one of the tape shows where he had to redo. He wasn't gonna be able to redo this one, so he kind of found the beat and went back through and got the stinger. But like both of you guys had said, and like Hogzwars said, it did what it had to do. And like OHB said, there's always the team that has to take the L. And unfortunately and fortunately, that team was Orangehausen because they don't lose anything by losing. Like people are expecting like Danhausen to lose because he ain't really won anything, but he's still heavily over. The crowd absolutely loves him. They absolutely love Orange Cassidy and the antics that he does. But like Hogwarts said, I don't think it was more about the match itself than what happened post match. where we got a return of a team that a lot of people thought they were going to leave in or is leaving in April for site or heights unknown or going for indie shows for a year or whatever the case may be. OHB, who was that team that came back?
Demolition.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was Bill
yeah.
Eadie and
Smash.
Barry Darso, baby. Coming no,
Yeah.
it was FTR, and it came right on the heels of after the Guns said that we's the best of all time. Well, I guess they took offense to that because they came out there and they hit what move was it there, Hogzwars?
You mean the big rig, sir?
You're fired, Yellaboi. What did they hit?
Replay.
What did they hit, Yella?
They hit that shatter
Shatter
machine.
machine.
Yeah, and it was boom. And then somewhere along the way, though, my boy got his eye busted open, and I never saw how that happened.
Dax
But
the Axe.
Dax the Axe got axed right in the side of his face. And old Cash was like, "Hey, bruh, what's up?" But yeah, so I guess
Do I
they
need to
back.
put a hurting on him like old boy did when he tried to attack Brett? Uncle
Yeah.
Brett.
Right.
Uncle Brett had that for real protection. After they went down there,
he really did.
that dude got annihilated for his troubles. Wearing his Rastafarian cap or whatever it was he
Trying
had
to be
on.
cool and
Yeah,
stuff.
Shoot, Cash showed him where the money was at for real, for real.
yeah, he showed him that he can
Where
go
the money
back to
resides, where the money resides.
Slumdog
Hey.
Millionaires. You out.
Had that man looking like the continue screen from Street Fighter. That's what he had him looking like. Man.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it was awesome. We'll see where that goes. You know, and then we're gonna get to this main event.
The
Right.
main event.
Yeah, which is a 60-minute Iron Man match between the American Dragon Bryan Danielson and one MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, baby. But dude, his entrance was dope though. He had one of them big Triple H big match entrances where there's people came in there all wearing the devil mask and they was playing like the little, orchestra stuff, and then it started playing his cut and he came out wearing the devil mask too, all white. And then whenever he took his jacket off in the ring, dude is jacked up. Because like Yellowboy said, if he's gonna be the face of the company, his own belief is that I gotta look the part. And he definitely looked the part in this match. What'd you think about that, Hogzwars? Did you think that this match was good or no?
You damn right this match was good. When like we always say, this match did not suck at all.
No.
When I say this match was so good, even though it was so long. And the most interesting part is you did, just like we said about this whole pay-per-view, you didn't notice how long it was because the match was that good.
Giggity.
Then they kind of put it in three phases. So the three phases were really them first kind of 20 minutes when they actually were kind of showing what the time was, and then we'll pull the clock away and come back. And that whole first part of the match was a lot of wrestling, a lot of kind of setting up the rest of the match because that whole first kind of 20 minutes, nobody had really gotten the edge over. Nobody had kind of taken, the brunt of the punishment. It was really kind of equal. And that was what kind of made the rest of the match so good because then it started hitting those, crazy falls and people going into tables and everything else that really kind of made the match what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But, throw it up to you, Yella.
Hey, so question. Did y'all get Eyes Wide Shut vibes from the little the band playing with the mask on and stuff? Because I was getting Eyes Wide Shut vibes coming out with the intro. If you ain't seen that movie, go check it out. If you're under 18, go check it out. Go check it out.
Go
Just
check
make
that
sure your
movie
parents
out.
asleep.
Yeah, make sure they asleep because that stuff, you know what? Pull the skin off. Let's go on to the next. The next boy.
Pull the skin out.
Yo.
But like Hogzwars said, it like the first part of the match was definitely chain wrestling. And I think what this whole match was to set up, and I was saying this to the bros during the match, the whole storyline was that Bryan Danielson, since he came into AEW, he said he's wanted to kick everyone's effing head off because he's a wrestler. He's a wrestler's wrestler, and he had William Regal with him because William Regal was a wrestler's wrestler, and so MJF didn't stand a chance because he wasn't a wrestler. He was a coward. He never did anything, took shortcuts or whatnot. So a lot of this match was Freeman showing off that one, I can wrestle, and like if you followed him in the Indies, which I didn't, but I've watched some of his matches in retrospect, watching them, in PWG and stuff like that. But he can wrestle, and he was wanting to show the masses of the fans, hey, look, this is what I can do. And he showed his wrestling IQ. Like there was one point in the match where he low blowed. You remember I said there was a bunch of penis punches in this match.
Yeah.
So this is part of those penis punches, because we forgot to mention that Danhausen gave a penis punch to Satnam Singh, and there was another penis punch somewhere else in there, because we ended up with about 6 of them. But this was another one. But he showed his IQ where he got disqualified to give Bryan Danielson a win and put him up 2-0. And what does MJF do? He immediately covers him for 1 pin. And since there's no breaks after each pinfall, he goes for a secondary pin and gets 2, and he's 2-2. Because it's a smart thing to do. Like, why would you sit there and wait for somebody to get ready if there's no break in between? Just go right for the pin. Do a move, go right for the pin, which he was doing, and Bryan Danielson wasn't. Bryan Danielson would hit a move, get a pinfall, and then he would, for whatever reason, wait. So I think a lot of this was a showcase of MJF. Again, crowd hot. And it was another match that ended up with a lot of blood. This was a bloody revolution. Very bloody revolution. But it was masterfully done because it ended on a cliffhanger, where I'm gonna say this part and then I'm gonna kick it off to let OHB finish it off. Giggity. But they went down to 3-3, and I know I'm skipping parts and I'm skipping big parts or whatnot like that, but I know it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, so if you're up watching, I know you're ready to go to bed. So a bunch of stuff happened, but they tied up 3-3, and as the clock ticked down and MJF was trapped in a submission by Bryan Danielson, it gets to 0, and he taps after the clock goes down, and it looks as though the show was going to end on a draw. Meanwhile, we hear in the background Tony Schiavone talking to someone through his headset, and he tells them, I love to tell them. And he goes down to the ring and tells the Dapper Yapper, Justin Roberts, something. And Justin Roberts announces that Tony Khan does not want the show to end on a draw, and they will restart the match for sudden death. And then it goes into sudden death, which I will throw over and alley-oop over to my good friend OHB to finish her off. Thank you. And a giggity.
So yeah, when it gets into the sudden death, there was a couple of different pin attempts right off the cuff, and none of them worked out, which led to MJF rolling out of the ring. Well, Bryce Rimsjobs was kind of checking on what was going on with Bryan Danielson. And then all the while, MJF is like, "Oh yeah, I got this oxygen tank out here." Because at the end of the regulation, there were some people out there giving him oxygen. Because MJF did get busted up, nasty dude. He was crimson. That's probably one of the worst busted ups I've seen in a while. And I mean, that's not even a takeaway from the Moxley and Hangman Page match. But anyway, that oxygen tank was still out there at the ringside. It was one of the little boys, like you see, that they give people with the green paint at the top of a silver can. Anyway, Bryan Danielson crawls out there to kind of look. He swings back and clacks him with it, goes inside, and then what does he do? He slaps Bryan into the bell lock, baby. And then the referee goes, and he goes 1, 2, and then he goes 3. No, Bryan sits there, and he's holding his hand out, and he's fighting, and then finally, he starts to kind of like go back down again. And then he taps out, baby. MJF retains, shows everybody that he's the man. Now we're gonna see what happens next, though, because now I'm interested. And now surely all the fans out there now that say he ain't nothing in the ring, that maybe that can be quelled. We already knew that he was a good dude. Just, I mean, even with that match he had with Darby Allin was killer when he beat him with a headlock. That was dope. I mean, but
Heck, the one
yeah,
he had with Wardlow, he made Wardlow look $1 million.
yeah, even though he got absolutely annihilated with the powerbomb symphony, still now, but he looks the part. He's in there. He's putting in the work. So we'll see. From a fan standpoint, I'm interested to see where they go with his title reign, because I think he needs to hold on to the belt for a little while. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm done talking about that.
He's better than you, and you know it. Now everybody know it. Everybody knows it now.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see Wednesday what ends up happening from the backlash of this, because if he's on the show on Wednesday, he's going to brag a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna have a whole championship celebration once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Turning back drinks just like Hogzwars just did. Turning them back.
He turned them way back. That boy turned them back to the future drinks.
Marty!
Great Scott.
Good show, man. Great show. Stoked about it.
It was. And it wasn't long. That was the problem. Yeah. That was the problem last time we did the Revolution. That was brutal.
Man.
Yeah.
And they had good matches, but God, it felt like a slog.
But it's the time of the show, ladies and gentlemen, and all of them's nays, of where we tell you can find us. You can see everywhere around us here. Now that's where you can find the bros collectively. You can find me at Overhereboy on Twitters and Instagrams and all your favorite social medias, and on Untappd. That's UNTAPPD. That is an app that lets you go in and check in beers, tell how you feel about them, and give them ratings. And then that way, too, if you ever come across it again, you'll be like, oh, I've already had that. I didn't care for it, or no, I loved it. That way you know you can hold on to it. Also tell you a little bit about beer styles. Anyway, Hogzwars, where can they find you? That ain't Wamplers now for a change, my boy.
Right, because that's the only place I ever want y'all. No, you can check me out on IG. I do have a Hogzwars IG if you're looking.
Yeah.
Slowly putting stuff on there because it's tough when you got a new IG page. You got to think about all the random quotes you want to put on there so you can be all cool like the rest of the people, and have these Dion quotes on there. You can feel like somebody, but no. Anyway, that's where you can find me, Yellaboi.
You can find me at your mom's house cooking steak and eggs, and you can find me on the tweets, the tweet machine. I'm on Twitter for right now. That's badass Yellaboi. That's BADAZZ_YELLABOI. That's where you can find me at right now. Again, you can catch all these in the description below. We'll have a link tree for all of your Bros, Brews, and Botches needs, including, let me pitch, merch. If you want some Bros, Brews, and Botches merch, please go check us out at Elevated Creations. They do our merch for us currently. The music, if you like music, holler at your boy DJ L-Spade over in Japan. He's got a new track. I believe he's got a couple of new tracks that came out this past week. So give him a listen. He's on Instagram, and he's on every music platform that you can think of. Go, if you're in the different areas, go check out. I'm trying to think of some of the folks that really support us on Instagram, as far as like Knoxville, the Casual Pint. I know we did the Casual Pint Advent calendar. OHB did it during Christmas. So catch them. Catch Panther Creek Brewery in Murfreesboro. What's the Hogzwars? Which one is the one that you went to in
Memphis Made here in Memphis. And there are a few other ones I want to go kind of travel and see, and just show you that it's more than just barbecue and wings in Memphis. I promise you.
Barbecue.
Chop you up. That's a rendezvous barbecue. That's it. North.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Hey. Your thumbs up.
Oh, man. That's stupid.
OHB, where can they find you at?
I already told you, man. Everywhere.
Oh, man, my bad. Everywhere? And
On the
nowhere
social
else.
media.
Everywhere.
I'm Overhereboy on
Everywhere.
everything. You can find me on Discord at Overhereboy also, and then on Xbox. When I get on Xbox, I don't get on Xbox that much. I do Discord a lot of the times, and I'm on Twitch. I'm telling you, we everywhere. We worldwide, ain't it?
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide. Like that.
Make sure y'all checking out those sips. Make
Yeah.
sure you checking out those Mad Dog Mondays. Check
Mad
out
Dog.
Shot of Brew. Coming soon. I believe Hogzwars is baking something up real quick. I mean, not baking. I mean, he's baking something real quick. You know what I mean?
I can't condone that.
Nope, we
I'm
don't. We
sure.
don't condone the smoke.
Just brews here, man. We
Right.
trying to do the most, man. Like I said, we trying to build. We trying to grow. Please help us with that growth. Please help us with building. We can only do so much by ourselves, but we need all of you people, you know the deal, the gimmick, you people to be able to help us do that growth or whatnot, and yeah, all the stuff. So if you're watching right now, thank you. If you're watching it on catch up, thank you. But I have nothing else. I'm sorry, I had to get all my promos out, so I'm done.
Yeah, we done with all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's all we can say about it, ain't it? Anyway,
I'm saying about that.
yeah, we love y'all. We're gonna do that waving off by that never captures at the end of our videos.
Love you. Till next time.
Till next time, we out this